Yes, people. Welcome to Saeed TV and welcome back to a Friday evening show with the Mandem. We're back. We've had a couple of weeks off. Charlie been on holiday. We've been busy, but big up to everybody who's watching right now. I don't know if I've frozen. Have I frozen? Or am I still here?
A bit.
Am I still here?
Am
I lagging?
right.
Yeah, cool. Right, we're cool. But big up to everybody who's watching. 48k, you get me. Big up to you guys. Keep supporting, man. We're not far off 50k, 2,000, less than 1,000 away now from 50k. So big up to everybody who's supporting, who's keep subscribing, keep liking. It means a lot, man. It means a lot, man. Like I said to you, it ain't easy, but you guys are making it easy. Big up to the panel involved, Charlie. Man, Charlie, where did you go on holiday, man? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's good, mate. I went to Tenerife. So I had a good time over there. But back working now and studying and all that. So it is what it is, man.
That's it. A little bit of a break from my United, man. It's always needed. It's always needed, man. Absolutely, man. Adam, how you doing, man? Everything go good, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you, bro. It's been a while since we had a chat, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much, my guy. Very good.
Yeah, man. Ramadan going good, yeah?
Yeah, it's been a hard few weeks. I can't lie. School, and I don't have any Muslim surrounding. Like, my family's not there. I don't have any Muslim friends. My roommate doesn't fast as well, so pretty much on my own. So that's not the easiest Ramadans I've had. To be honest.
Man. But yeah, man, big up to you. As long as you're all well and good, that's the main thing. Yeah. And Statman is living the lavish lifestyle now. He's living the penthouse lifestyle. How's it going?
All right, listen, I'm loving life right now, innit? With my green screen.
Absolutely, man. He's loving life, man. He's loving life. Big up to Killis, Ramadan Lassie. He's making us some breaking news that we heard the other day. Today, we're doing a preview, people. I'll be honest with you. Unless it's a big game, man, I can't be asked doing previews, if I'm being honest, because, you know what I mean? We had a whole preview about Everton last week, and Mike Blue Boys, he said to me, Everton are the worst team ever. Everton are rubbish. Everton are this. What happens? They beat us. So for me, people, apologies if you came for a preview. We're going to mix things up. We're going to predict the next season team, because I'm already thinking about next season, people. I don't know if you guys are, that maybe your kind of feeling of how you think, that's okay. But for me, I'm thinking next season. I'm trying to think about a new rebuild. So big up to everybody who's watching. But Matic just leaving at the end of the season. I think that's confirmed.
Devastating, man.
Yeah, devastating. So am I, man. So am I. But listen, it's more players, Charlie, that we have to buy now. You know what I mean? I personally thought that United would trigger his 1-year contract, because they were allowed to trigger 1 more year onto his deal. But you know what, man? He feels like he can play. He's 34 in August. He feels like he can play a few more years.
Yeah, man. Look, I've always been a big fan of Matic. Like, people know, who've followed me for a while. Like, I think Matic is still a top quality player. The issue with Matic is that he can't play, especially in this Manchester United team that's been without what I call like a well-oiled system for a long time, without much protection. If you look in front of him, you've got obviously Bruno, as good as he is. We've seen obviously scoring goals and assists. Obviously, very often, whoever plays in our midfield is being left sort of on their own. You know, our wide players haven't really been contributing. You know, our striker, whether it be Ronaldo or Cavani for the last few years, isn't really going to... I know Cavani did work quite hard last year. He was a big player for us, but obviously this year he hasn't been. Ronaldo doesn't really, you know, work back as much as maybe we would like. And obviously Bruno plays very, very high. So I think whoever's played in midfield for us has always struggled. And I think that has obviously not benefited Matic. And I do think Matic can sort of benefit in a league like Serie A. I think he'd do quite well there, maybe with Jose Mourinho. Yeah, I think he could still do okay at a Europa League Serie A team, that sort of level. I think he'd still do a good job there. But yeah, no, he's been one of our... To be fair to him, he is... I don't believe that he's one of these players with a massive ego, or one of these players that has caused any trouble. He has always been a top... Obviously, we don't know, but from what I've seen on the pitch, he's always been a top professional. So I wish him all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, you know, our natural only CDM that's leaving ahead of maybe possibly others that probably need to leave. Are you... For me, I'm looking at it more like, you know, I'm a bit kind of almost like, you know what, it's been a good servant, probably the few you might want to keep. But then also in my head thinking, you know what? To build and to have a new system and have a new team, you're gonna have to get the likes of Matic away, you know?
Yeah, you know what? I'm a big fan of Matic as well, and I think it would be easier for me to, not that it's difficult, of course, but I think it would be easier for me to digest him leaving, for example, if he had been playing and respected a bit more in the last 2 seasons. I think it would be if he leaves at the end of the season, which he just announced on Twitter, but he had been playing for the last 2 years and people were giving him the respect he actually deserved because he's a top professional, like Charlie said, and he's a very, very good footballer. I would say, you know what? Fair enough. And I wish him the best. And I wish him the best still. But it leaves a bit of a sort of a bitter taste because we should have been paying him more. I think he's a good player. We should have used Matic more in the last 2 seasons. And we've been a disgrace, like on the pitch, outside of the pitch. We didn't make good decisions. The good players have not been playing enough. And Matic is one of those players. And I hope
he's
getting someone else. I just hope we're getting quality players now. Because if we get someone that is bad or we don't get nobody, it's tragic. It's tragic.
He says here, after a great deal of thought, I've decided that this season will be my last season with Manchester United. I've informed the board, the manager, and the players of my decision. It's been a huge honour and a privilege to play for this great club. A big thank you to the fans for their unwavering support. I will now give everything to end the season to help my teammates finish as strongly as possible. Serbia are in the World Cup, aren't they?
I think he's retired, hasn't he?
Oh, is he retired? Okay, fair
From
enough.
international.
He plays,
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Statman, how do you sum up his career at Man United? You know, I mean, started off well, and then it's kind of faded away, hasn't it?
I think the first 6 months when he first came, he was brilliant. Second half of that season, he kind of faded. But I think Adam kind of said it. We've disrespected Nemanja Matic massively. He should be playing a lot more. Like we said, he's our only natural holding midfielder. This season, when we were doing our player ratings, we put him as one of our better players this year.
Yeah, we did.
Whenever he's played, he's looked very, very good. Against Atletico Madrid in the first leg, when he came on, he changed the game.
Yeah,
we know what Nemanja Matic can do, but hopefully, for Nemanja Macic's sake, he kind of goes to another club now and plays the football, innit? That's all he can really do. Because I feel like he's trying to prolong his career by retiring from international football, and we still didn't really give him a chance like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's different when you're Man City because Man City just go and buy players that are going to be ready-made. The problem with United is we never ever seem to kind of replace players, and that's the problem. That's why maybe there might be a little bit of sentiment towards Matic. I think personally it's the right decision now. I was kind of looking at this thinking, you know what? We have to look for the future. We have to look at maybe a Declan Rice, Chouameni, a holding midfielder that could be of sort, replace Matic. But again, you know what I mean? How many DMs are out there that are reasonable price? You know what I mean? How many are out there? You know, we missed out on Zakaria, but again, Zakaria, the more I'm watching for Juventus is box to box.
And
you know what I mean?
That's it. Because the question is not midfield is a position where you have so much variability within players in midfield that you can't really just say a DM. Because as Ragnick said, the first thing you need to say and to decide is how you want to play. How you want to play football, and then you pick the players. Because if you want to play like Klopp, you don't really have a DM. If you want to play like Ragnick wants to play, you don't really have a DM. You have like box-to-box, high-intensity players. And that's why Matic maybe hasn't played enough for Ragnick, because as good as he is, he's not the right profile that Ragnick would want. And then that's the question with Ten Hag. As good as Declan Rice is he a Ten Hag type of player? And then you can have the discussion about it. And you need to decide what type of football you want to play, and then you pick the right player. And that's a difficult question and a difficult task.
I hope Nemanja Matic, once he leaves here, kind of says some stuff about the club, though. Because remember that time where... I'm just saying I hope he does, because I swear press conference where he said Oli should play more experienced players or something at one point.
Fair enough, yeah.
I can't remember when he said that, but I swear he said something like that. So hopefully
when did he say
once
that?
He leaves, I swear he said that a couple of years ago.
He just didn't rate Ole. That was obvious.
Yeah. But I want to see what these players say after the leave kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
hope many of them go on
Yeah,
Van
it's
Gaal.
true. It's true. It's true. I think for me, it was gonna happen either way. You know, what I mean, sooner or later, it was gonna happen either way. It was gonna happen anyway, sooner or later. So I think this is probably the best time for both parties to leave. Someone saying Ghana. Ghana, do you reckon can fit in that mold? Maybe bring him in. Charlie, what do you reckon?
Well, I haven't watched too much of him, to be totally truthful. From what I have seen, I think he's a decent player, but it's still a long way to go for me. I think he could be a squad player, but I would keep him. I tweeted this out the other day. I think we need to keep these prospects at the moment as far away from the mess that we've got, to be honest with you, because we don't want to damage it. Like people are saying, play the youth and all this, but if we were to bring the youth in for tomorrow's game, for example, it's not a very nice atmosphere at the moment. You know what I mean? In the team, I don't really want too many young players at the moment because I think that might distort them a little bit. I think it might interrupt them a little bit because we've got such a bad atmosphere. You've got to have the right atmosphere. You look at City when Phil Foden was brought in. Phil Foden was brought into a perfect time at Manchester City, and they were not obviously a perfect manager, but a semi-perfect manager, as near perfect as you can get in Pep Guardiola, with a near perfect squad, in near perfect circumstances where he can slot in, and he's got a really, really nice, a nice system. He's got professional players around him, and he's got a really, really good system around it. But if we were to bring, a Ghana or a Hannibal, I think I've seen quite a lot of people. You're bringing them into a team that's not balanced. You're bringing them into a team that's very, very distorted. With, as we've seen loads of reports about, dressing room unrest and egos and all this. And this is the thing we've got away of. I think Ghana is okay, but I'd personally send him out on loan again. For me, obviously it depends what happens in the summer with the other midfielders, but for me, Ghana still. I don't want to bring him in and then not play him. I think the lad needs to play, so I'd give him another loan. Okay,
fair enough. Well, that's it for the Matic news. Right, let's think about next season. There's a lot to take out. There's a lot to talk about. Who goes into the squad? Who doesn't? Let's start with the keeper.
I've been waiting for this.
Come on, let's start with him. Let's start with him, Saeed.
Let's start with David De Gea. I think.
What do you mean? Let's not start with David De Gea.
Yeah. Listen. Big up to Nathan Minnes. Big up to you, bro. He goes, you can have Xhaka from us. I'll give him a lift to Manchester. You know what it is, yeah? Hear me out, people. But you know what, man? I don't think Xhaka's actually a bad player.
No.
Am I wrong? Yes or no?
I agree with you.
I think Xhaka needs another environment. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I would take Xhaka, but I don't see him as a bad player. You know what I mean? If you give it for free, then maybe. But you know what I mean? If you're not, then I'm not willing to spend 30-40 million on Xhaka. But like I said to you, Sam Johnson's apparently been told that he might be coming back. You know what I mean? Apparently United are wanting Sam Johnson. I think Henderson's gone for me personally. I just think there's too much, imagine having to kind of now build your trust with a new manager that comes in. And David De Gea has all the kind of the hype around him. I just think it's going to be, for me, it's another setback for him if he doesn't get that role with Ten Hag. But David De Gea, for me, if I can remember from his stats at Louis van Gaal, similar sort of football, you would argue, for me, had a higher percentage of 70% in terms of his distribution. It's not the same as it now, as in 50%. But listen, all I'm saying to you is, I still believe he can play under Ten Hag. I don't think we need a new keeper. I don't think we need a new keeper. I genuinely think we don't need a new keeper under Ten Hag. I don't think it's a priority right now when Man United need to spending 50, 60 odd million for a new goalkeeper. Whether it's Henderson in goal, I'm here for that. But I don't know if you guys are saying that we should buy another keeper or you want to put Henderson number one. If you want Henderson number one, Statman, and I'm going to go to you first. Do you want Henderson as number one?
It's not what I want, it's what Ten Hag wants. I think Ten Hag would prefer Dean Henderson to David De Gea. Realistically, my ideal situation is go sign someone like Mike Maignan from AC Milan. But I don't think that will happen. He's just come in. That's something I don't think that will happen. Yeah. Maybe even Brentford's David Raya is not too bad. But in my eyes, we can't be going into next season with David De Gea as number one.
Adam, what do you think? David De Gea, can he still play under Ten Hag, do you think?
To be honest, I think we need a new goalkeeper. I've been saying it for at least 4
You think
years.
so?
Yeah.
Mm.
But I don't think it's something we need to address this summer.
Okay.
I think next season, and I don't think Henderson is the answer as well. And
yeah.
maybe,
What's this with
maybe
Henderson hype? You know,
I don't
This
get it.
Henderson hype.
I don't get it, to be honest. I just don't get it. And I think I don't want De Gea and I don't want Henderson. I want someone else. To be honest, if we had Romero, I'd pick Romero. He's my pick of the bunch. To be fair. And the last time we won the trophy, we won it with Romero. The last time we won 2 trophies, to be honest. And I think we need a striker. We need midfield players. We need probably a winger and fullbacks. So next season, we are not when you are addressing the goalkeeper situation, you're actually quite advanced in your coaching. And at the moment, Ten Hag is not even there. So I think, to be honest, we will eventually need a goalkeeper. That's 100%. But next season, I don't think this is something to address this transfer window, because it would appear like it won't impact. It would appear like a loss of money, like a waste of money. It will not be that, because the next summer and the next transfer window, we will get the other players and the team will start clicking, and all of a sudden the goalkeeper is an integral part of the play. But I wouldn't start with it.
You don't think it could be a Joe Hart, Pep Guardiola moment?
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, Statman, and I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be against it. But if you ask me personally, but if he has a lot of money, well, then there you go. But I don't expect him to have lots of money, so it's a bit more of a tricky one.
Does every attack, Charlie, have to start off on the back? Does everything has to kind of, this president that we've seen football for so many years? Okay, we have to go in the new times, but does football always have to start off from the back? You know what I mean? And do we need to build our attack from the back?
I think we do. Look, I'll be honest with you, I've changed my opinion in the last few months, and I always hold my hands up if I'm wrong or I got the judgment wrong. But before the season started, I wanted David De Gea to be the number 1, and I said that David De Gea should be our goalkeeper, and I've changed my mind on that from seeing De Gea this season, from watching other teams, from improving my knowledge of the game, I suppose. Really, I just think that De Gea is too limited in the way he plays, and I think Ten Hag likes to often outnumber the opposition in build-up. So for example, if the opposition's got, let's say, a front 2, and we're playing with 2 centre-halves, well, the goalkeeper will join the build-up. He'll play a little bit more advanced to join up with the centre-halves to make a numerical advantage and build up that way. So I think Dean Henderson would suit that more. But as everyone else has said as well, I've got my reservations about Henderson. I think Henderson, I don't think Henderson is any better than most of the top half teams' goalkeepers, to be totally truthful with you. I don't think he's any better than Chelsea, City, Liverpool's. And I don't think he's better than Aaron Ramsdale. Obviously, we need to see more of him, I think. But I think there's a lot of keepers that I just think he's a decent keeper. Whether he can get to that stage we want him to, I'm not sure. But for me, De Gea
was better than Sam Johnston.
Yeah. I think Sam Johnston's going to be possibly the number 2, isn't he? I think that's what they were looking into. But for me, De Gea, I haven't got a great problem, as Adam said. I can deal with De Gea or Henderson for another season, but I think in the 23-24 season, that'll be the season afterward. I think then we'll have to look for definitely a new goalkeeper. But it wouldn't be where I would start. And if I had to start one of the 2 under Ten Hag, I would start Henderson. But I don't think Henderson is particularly fantastic. I just think he is better suited to Ten Hag's system.
Okay, for the kind of, just for the sake of the argument, if I'm going to pick a keeper to replace David De Gea, I want to bring in the keeper from AC Milan. That's who I would bring in. Who would you go for, Charlie?
Well, yeah, I've seen him, and I saw him for a few minutes, and I instantly took light to him. I think he's a good option. I also think Sanchez at Brighton and Raya at Brentford are options as well to look at. But I'll be honest with you, goalkeeping is not my speciality. I've never really been interested in goalkeeping. I much rather score goals and stop goals myself. You know what I mean? But
yeah, of course.
But but I'm not goalkeepers. I'm not that good at really recognizing good goalkeepers. But Mike Magnan, I think his name is. I did like him when I saw him, but I haven't got too much knowledge of the others. I've seen Sanchez and Raya are okay, but we'll see what the other. See what everyone else thinks. I'm not too sure on.
I like the Wolves keeper. I like the Wolves keeper. I like the Wolves keeper. You've gone for Adam. You've gone for bringing back Romero.
Not bringing back Bruno. I said if we had him, he would be my option. But again, like Charlie, I don't know goalkeepers too much, and with the semester I'm having, I haven't been able to watch as much football as I would love to. But I think we could get someone like the deal Chelsea had for Edouard Mendy. They bought him for the French league. What a signing! So if you tell me there is a goalkeeper like that for 25 million, for example, and you can get him this summer, or
Lafont. Where does he play? Lafont.
I don't know.
He's a very good keeper.
Yeah, so if we can get a good and goalkeepers, if they are like still young, you don't expect them to be expensive. Like 65 million, like they did for Alisson at Roma. This is a very, very expensive goalkeeper. Or Kepa. But we can do a good deal for much cheaper, I believe. So, but then again, I don't know goalkeepers too much, if I'm being honest here. So I would like reserve my judgment. I can't.
Yeah, nonce in France. Yeah. Okay, obviously Statman's gone for Maynard as well. Okay, let's look at the right back situation. I personally, I think this is a very, very unpopular opinion. I'm a bit reserved on Dalot. I always have been. Every single time, I don't know what it is with me. I said it in 2019. I said, we bought it for 20 million. He can't defend and he can't attack. Where's the receipt? I don't know if you guys remember that interview on the United stand, but I did say that. You know what I mean? And ever since I've been reserved on my judgment with Dalot. I think he's a good player, but sometimes at Man United, you just need to be excellent. And whether Dalot can do that under Ten Hag is another thing. I think there's an opportunity to grow under Ten Hag. There is an opportunity to grow, of course. He's got a good ability. Because for me, his best ability is ball carrying. You know, the way he gets the ball from where our defense is to all the way up the top. I've seen it numerous times at Old Trafford. There is something there. I'm going to start off with you, Statman, first. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka, I think is, I don't want to give my opinion on Wan-Bissaka, but, Dalot is the main choice. So we're going to focus on Dalot. Is Dalot good enough to be the first choice for Ten Hag next season?
See, depends, innit? Like, I wouldn't be mad at Dalot being first choice, but I think someone like Timber could also come in and take his spot. Because I definitely do think we're going to sign maybe one player from Ajax, innit? Just because Ten Hag's familiar with him. And obviously, Timber played right back the other day against that Sparta Rotterdam team and done all right kind of thing for him. And obviously,
is he a natural right back, though? Is he a centre back first?
He can play centre back as well, but I think in the Premier League, he'll probably play right back, innit?
Yeah, but the thing is he a right back, though? We need a right back.
He played right back the other day, though. And sometimes
that's
Fabinho,
because of the system.
Fabinho played the right back at Monaco.
Yeah, exactly. Fabinho played right back at Monaco.
He has played right back, though, for Ajax as well, though. So I don't think Ten Hag will have a problem. Like, other than that, who else is there?
I think you could go
realistically
and get,
as well.
Lamptey's an option. I think Lamptey, yeah. Big up to Fraz.
Injury prone, though. Injury prone.
And are you really going to pay £50 million for Lamptey?
Exactly. That's what I'm going to say, Statman. I think I agree with you there. You can't buy Lamptey.
Who says it's 50 million? Why are we president for 50 million?
Well, he's English
right back, isn't it?
English right back, Premier League proven, and he's better than.
How much should they buy him for? How much should they buy him for? Does anyone know?
But you know what? The thing is, they will say you bought Aaron Wan-Bissaka at the same age from a Premier League club for 50 million. And in our evaluation, Lamptey is better than Wan-Bissaka. And you already spent 50 on Wan-Bissaka. Just logically. And I think they did the same
for 5 million. Wow, that's crazy.
And I think they did the same thing, City, when they bought Benjamin Mendy, the left back from Monaco. Yeah. But just previously, they had bought 50 million, Kyle Walker for 50 million. And Monaco said, in our estimation, you spend 50 for Walker. Considering the age and the ceiling, Benjamin Mendy is at least 50. I think they spent 52 on him. just so he's higher, more expensive than Walker. So I agree with Statman. If you go for Tariq Lamptey, I think you will have to pay a lot of money.
Yeah, Dubois from Lyon. You got Vanneman, Aaron obviously from Norwich.
21 as well, Lamptey.
Lamptey, yeah, 21 as well. Ethan Laird, he just only got his first appearance today for Bournemouth. You know what I mean? So he's not been kind of thinking. Charlie, have you got any right backs that you think, or even Dalot? Do you think he could be good enough?
It depends again what Ten Hag's going to do, because he can use this inverted fullback role that he's used before.
Yeah.
So he might well play Lindelof as the right back, but it's sort of an inverted role, and then Shaw as a left back, and Shaw would be much higher. So it depends what he does. If he wants an actual, what we call an actual right back, you know, as we would see one, then I think Dalot is. I've always said with Dalot, I think he's a good player. I think he's better than Wan-Bissaka, but I can see Dalot being some sort of a backup right back in the future. I think Dalot is a very, very useful player to have, because he can play left back, right back, left wing back, right wing back, and he can actually play as a winger. I think he could play as a winger.
He could.
I actually think he could be quite comfortable, especially if you want to, you know, if you want to double up on a wide player and you want to play a slightly more defensive winger and then a right back behind him. I think that could be something he could be used for in the future. But for me, in the summer, I would stick. I would sell Wan-Bissaka. I would maybe bring Ethan Laird in as the backup for Dalot, and then I would address that the summer after for me. But again, I haven't been convinced by too many right backs out there, to be honest with you. So I think Timber's a good option as a centre back who can also play a right back, but I'm not convinced by Max Aarons. I've never been convinced by him. This Spence looks a good talent, but it's the championship.
Yeah, a lot of people say Spence. Yeah, Brian says Spence.
Championship,
as well.
You know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of difference.
Yeah.
I think he'll either play Lindelof. The options he's got is he can stick with Dalot. He might play an inverted fullback. If so, he might play Lindelof there, or he might sign Timber and play Timber there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Big up to everybody who's watching. Over 500 of you watching here live Friday evening. Big up to everybody who's watching. Keep subscribing. Nearly at 50k people. So if you're watching right now, less than 2,000 away from 50k. Phenomenal. You guys support, and every time each appreciate. Remember, 50k, there'll be a big giveaway to give out. So you get me. I'll make sure I keep you locked in for that one. Centre backs option. For me, Varane, there's a reason for me that's hopeful of second season he can improve. You know what I mean? There's a lot of centre backs out there that I've never kicked on. I think Stones start off a bit dodgy and then got back into his second season. I think they won the Centurions, didn't they? Something like that. So, you know, I think the second season is always good for Varane. So I'm going to try and nudge that one. But obviously, whoever goes against Varane, I think this one's a very, 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 very good option that United should be thinking of. Rudiger, 28, aggressive centre-back. But the problem is, though, can he play in the back four, Adam? That's the question. That's what we always say with Rudiger. In the back four, he doesn't look comfortable. In the back three, he does. Would you be tempted by Rudiger?
Yeah, because
free as well.
Free. I think he's a quality centre-half, and I would take him in a heartbeat. I think Varane has been injured a lot this season, but I think he's been head and shoulders. We have that conversation. I think he's been head and shoulders our best centre-half, clear of the rest.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. I think it's Lindelof.
Lindelof, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and I can see it, but I think every time Lindelof played well is because he played with Varane. But when he plays with Maguire, he doesn't raise Maguire's level. Anybody who plays with Varane steps up. I think he's been our best centre half, clear. But to be honest with you, and I agree, he's been injured, and if he can't play, well, there's no point. Just like Jones, just like Rojo, just like Bailly, there's no point having a player injured. So of course I would keep Varane. I think he's a very, very good centre half. But going back to what you said, Rudiger for free, you need to at least ask the question. You have to. You have to do it. But I think we need two centre halves, Said. At least, at the very least. Because I don't think Lindelof can play as a starter. I don't rate him, to be honest. I think he always looks shaky. Like, he always allows the ball to rebound. When he gets rid of the ball, it's not convincing, and it usually goes back to the opposition. And those are very subtle things. that they don't appear to be mistakes. But I think he's a player that you need to be quite subtle to, not to dislike, but to see that it's not convincing enough for me with Lindelof. But he's clear of the others we have, to be honest. Like it's Varane and Lindelof. Bailly, personally, I think Bailly should play with Varane, but he appears he can't play given his injuries and everything. But I think we need two centre halves, two at least.
Absolutely. Prodigy here with Super Chat. Big up to you, bro. He goes, think people are in for a shock with centre back under Ten Hag. Can see him liking Lindelof and most, and heard a few rumours we're signing Pau Torres for Villarreal. I've heard that as well. Again, no sources, but again, you know what I mean? I've heard that Pau Torres is a strong link to Man United. A lot of people say Pau Torres. For me, I've never seen more of a dominant display by a centre-back in Pau Torres. You know, the way he was played for me, unbelievable. The way he can get out of the ball from tight spaces. He's so comfortable on the ball. It's unbelievable. And for me, I like him, man. Some people say he's not that physical, but he's aggressive. You know what I mean? Okay, he might not have the stature, but he's quite tall. You know, he can come in for a header. He's 25, right age, Charlie. What do you reckon in terms of centre back? What are your options? Delete as well, maybe from the contacts. You know,
I think that Pau Torres. I think he's a good option. I think I don't know whether you've seen Gvardiol at Leipzig. 20 years. I think he's 20 years old. I've been watching him a few times. He does play on the left of a back three. Obviously, he's used to a back three. But I was speaking with somebody on Twitter. They said he plays in a back four for his country. I didn't know that as a centre half in a back four. So he's obviously got experience there. I think Spurs are going to sign him because obviously they've got Ben Davies left centre back. Although he's done pretty well, I think Conte will want an upgrade. So I think he might be going to Spurs. And then you've got a sort of Schlotterbeck. I've seen him a few times. He looks quite impressive as well. In terms of what we need, I think we need be going for a centre half this summer, definitely. I think Varane. I disagree. I know Adam likes Varane. I think we've had no. I don't think anyone's performed particularly well. I think Varane's been okay. I think with the ratings though, when we did the ratings, I think what we did, we rated people a little bit higher because we wanted to give people a little bit higher than. Yeah, we didn't want to get not one player.
It'll be different at the end of the season. Don't worry. Definitely, I think we should definitely come back on them player ratings. They were a bit dodgy, I think so.
Not one player should have been over a 6 or even a 5, really.
It's crazy.
And if you're not available, that has to count towards the rating. You know what I mean? Like if you're a professional and you're not fit to play, that should bring your rating down because you're paid to play football. You know what I mean? You're paid to play football, and I think Varane. Although Varane's injury record, obviously I do like Varane. Lindelof, I think he's okay. I don't think we should be selling him, but I don't think he, as Adam said, starting in Ten Hag's team. I think he could start for maybe the first season, but he may look for an upgrade. Maguire,
absolutely.
I don't want to say anything too unpopular here, but I think Maguire's on the ball attributes. I think Ten Hag will quite like that. Whether Maguire's lack of pace and his general nonsense that he's been producing this season, whether he takes that into account, I don't know. But I think that Maguire's on the ball attributes Ten Hag would look at that. He'd have a think about it. But for me, with how expansive Ten Hag plays, I think he's off the ball attributes.
He'll get caught out. That's a problem. He's going to get caught out either way.
That's why. That's why I think he'll make an overall judgment. I think he'll say, well, I think we'll be too open here, and I think he'll soon find out he's too. He might be a little bit too slow. But yeah,
go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say about Maguire. I think his attributes on the ball are overrated. I was just talking about it with Hag'S on the stream just before this one. The thing is with Maguire, it's not that he's not good on the ball. He has a good first touch. He can pick a good pass, but his decision making, the way his brain is not quick enough. Like he's not sharp. He's not switched on. Like, and I give the example of Daley Blind, who is not quicker than Harry Maguire, you could say. But Blind's brain he's such an intelligent footballer. He picks the right pass, the right decision so quickly, and it feels to me like Maguire trying to prove and to show that he's good on the ball. Invites pressure too much and it feels like he has to prove the point of being a good ball-playing centre half, and he has a very slow response to it. And if he just gets rid of the ball quicker, he doesn't
That's
get.
yeah. I get what you mean.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. I
And you
just
know
think
I don't think he's outrageous on the ball. I think he's decent. But when we play Lindelof and Varane together, usually the ball moves quicker without them being like, yeah, they all both go on. But yeah, for example, Varane.
The ball does move quicker. Varane doesn't move the ball quick enough. He might move the ball in terms of his body movement and the way he might carry it a little bit. And it might be. Sometimes I think it's too much rush because he ends up not playing a good pass. You know what I mean? But again, you know what? It's how bad it is. Everybody's attributes never are used well. Bailly, it should be the common denominator, but again, it's not fit, and that's just a problem. Statman, someone's asking what are your thoughts on Akanji? According to the list,
when I've watched him, I don't think
he's all right. He's all right, but again,
I think Pau Torres is probably one of the most. I think Pau Torres is probably one of the favorites that we should probably look to bring in. Left foot centre back and break lines. Has a nice diagonal on him as well, and I think that's pretty much what we needed.
Does age matter, by the way? Does age matter in terms of should we look for a young one? Should we look maybe for Thiago Silva? He came in at 36, and look at what he's doing. Okay, he's in the back five, but
no, if you really want to look at someone next season, Koulibaly's contract finishes, I think.
Yeah.
Well, bloody hell, 3 years too late.
And Koulibaly has been one of the best centre backs in Serie A this year, in my eyes.
Does actually contract finishes this summer?
2023, I think, is next year.
I would take him.
Yeah, he'll be 31, 32. I think that's maybe too little. I think Pau Torres for me is the perfect example. Right, we'll leave that for now. Sorry, go on.
I wanted to ask you just quicker, like, what do you think? Do you guys remember that guy Demiral who's on loan from Juventus?
Oh yeah.
That guy I rate very, very highly. I don't know what you guys think about it, and of course we can't do that deal, but Wesley Fofana at Leicester would be probably one of my first picks.
But we got a new contract, though, isn't it?
Yeah, contract and the age, and we got fleeced once. So I don't want to do.
Yeah, I don't want to do it again, man. Leicester, keep your players, man. You know what I mean? Right. For me, left back critical. Shaw's out for the season. For me personally, need to get rid of Shaw. But again, I don't think we will. No, I'll be honest with you, man. He's out for the season now. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with Shaw. He's injury prone. Someone for me. I just hate that word. But Shaw under a different manager. But Shaw under this, he's had how many managers now? Okay, he had the devastating injury under Van Gaal, and we didn't see most of him. But Mourinho, shocking. What do you call it? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had maybe a year good. Come on, man. Even probably if a year, probably exaggerating. Because he started off the season poorly, then came into it for a good couple of months. What are you looking for? Tellez for me ain't cutting it. I'll start with you first. Left back options, who you wanted? There's Cucurella, there's Grimaldo, there's I don't know who else is out there.
I'll be honest, I don't think we'll sign a left back in it. I just don't think that'll be in our priorities.
I think we do need a fullback on either side, one or the other.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll sign a left back in it. I think Luke Shaw will be his number one choice. Tellez, I think he could.
Why should Luke Shaw be his number one choice though? When he's injured all the
time. No, but I think he carries the ball a lot better.
Carry the ball. This is what I mean, Statman.
No, but this is nonsense. No, but how does Tellez fit into Ten Hag's team then?
No, but I don't want Tellez. I don't want Shaw. So
exactly.
I want to do.
Then you're not giving me another option.
No, but again, I just don't like this argument.
No, but at least if you're going to critique Luke Shaw, give me another left back that we could sign it.
I think Cucurella
is the left back. Luke Shaw's better than Tellez.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm trying to say to you, do we need a new left back? Do you think we need a
we ain't signing one this summer?
No, but we have to. So I'm putting it out to you there. We have to sign a new left back.
We might have to, but we're not going to sign one. We haven't even.
This I'm saying, and I was telling man, bro, listen, this ball carrying, he does it once in a blue moon, and another thing as well, he never overlaps. This brother, every time I watch him, he never overlaps.
Fine, name me a left back that we can get then, realistically.
Realistically, the Brighton one,
because we haven't been linked with anyone.
I'm not linked with anyone. Obviously, we're not.
Exactly. Then there you go. Then it's still starting.
But no. But if Ten Hag wants to do well, he can't play Tellez at left back next season. He might turn him into something unbelievable, but like you said, physically, he's not great. I mean, Charlie, what are you thinking of? Someone saying Fernandes coming through. Come on, man. He's still learning his trade, man. Let him develop.
Right. You know what we got to realise, right? I know we're all getting a bit giddy about Ten Hag, right? What we need to realise is this is gonna, and I don't like the word process and rebuild and all that. I don't like it, right? You knew my stance on Ollie. He'd had his time. He needed to go. right? But you cannot physically get rid of every player.
Yeah.
What we've got to do this summer is we've got to try and see who our least worst players are. That's what we've got to do at the moment. And Shaw is not one of our worst players, right, in terms of his ability, right? So I
know,
personally,
Charlie, ability, but availability plus factors that he, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just say availability, because then again, ability, when you don't use it and when he's always injured, it's just, I feel sorry for him. I just feel like, you know what, we can't use that ability. He's injury prone. He's injury prone.
I agree with that, and I agree with that. But Shaw, for me, and people will disagree. Obviously, it's opinions, but Shaw for me offers more than Telles in his overall game. Right, that's what I think. I think Telles is too limited. He doesn't progress the ball as well. Okay, Telles is quite good in the one-on-one duels. You know, he's Brazilian. He really sticks to it, and he's been really, really good at defending one-on-one. But you know, Telles is just so limited. You know, he gets the ball.
Yeah,
I always feel he always turns back. And I know Shaw hasn't had a good season. I know Shaw hasn't had many good months at all, like fantastic months for United. But what we've got to do is we've got to prioritise which positions we really, really need to invest in, right? And for me, I think Ten Hag will use Shaw. I'm not saying he's going to be starting Shaw in 3 or 4 years' time, but I think he will use Shaw next season. And I don't think he'll be using Telles much. But I think for me, left back is one of the least positions to worry about for me. I don't think we need to be worrying about left back at this moment in time. Scouting for the future, yes, but sorry, we ain't got 400 million, mate. We ain't got that sort of money.
Yeah. But there's a lot of people who are leaving. There's a lot of people who are leaving. But again,
we have got 400 million, but they won't spend it. You know, they ain't going to spend it. You know what I mean? So,
big up to action.
You know what the thing with Telles is, and I saw someone in the comments say exactly that, and I was going to say it, but he's basically Bruno at left back. You just don't know what to expect. Like, he has a very good work rate. He can put a very decent ball in, but he can put an absolute shot into the stands. He can control and be very tidy, and he just can lose his first touch. So you can't really rely on Telles. And the problem with Luke Shaw is mostly not related to football, because I think we can get better than him. But my problem with him, first, he's not always fit. He seems to have a weird attitude. He can't stay fit in the sense like he cannot lose weight, and you are a professional footballer. Luke Shaw is quick as he is now. Can you imagine how quick he could be? And this is your duty as a footballer. When you play for Manchester United and your level is, for example, 7.5 out of 10, but you have in your locker to go to a 9, you have to do it. You play for one of the world's biggest clubs. And that's my problem with Luke Shaw. We see Luke Shaw put a shift in when he gets challenged by Telles, when he's just signing and this and that. I have a problem with that. I have a problem. And Luke Shaw, he was my favorite player when he signed, to be honest. But a very good first touch, a good weight of pass more often than not. He is a competent footballer. And I think if you have a right back like Dalot who stretches the pitch, it's easy for Luke Shaw to be the one that tucks in midfield a bit more, since he doesn't overlap as much. But I would go for a left back, to be honest, because I'm fed up of Luke Shaw. As good as I think he can be as a player, I think he has a very good first touch.
Yeah.
As well.
Let me ask you a question. I want to ask, for me, what I want to say is, we talk about David De Gea being a problem and we need a new keeper, but then we don't want to look at how our left-hand side is a problem, because if you look at it, okay, the right-hand side, I can, you know what, I can accept. But that left-hand side is a problem as well, because Telles isn't better than Luke Shaw, or, you know, like for me, I don't know why people disrespect Alonso. I think it's a very, very suitable replacement for Chilwell. Okay, he might not give you what, but still goes forward. He still gets along with the assists. He gets goals. You know, he's a very, very good backup. We haven't got a great backup. Telles, it's just, for me, the Premier League, I don't know if it suits him, but he's found it difficult to adapt to the Premier League. And for me, I think it should be an option where United should be thinking about a fullback, because we can't keep relying on it. You know what I mean? So someone's asked.
You know what, Saeed?
Yeah.
Sorry, go
on. this guy, man. You know what I mean? Ramadan, man. Let's keep it respectful, man. You get me? But yeah, go on.
I was going to say, and I don't want to make excuses for these players, right? Yeah. Because it's been a shambles. But what we need to realise is that Manchester United recruitments from the managers, from the whole running of the club. This is why we're talking about Shaw and Tellers, because of how our club is run. We shouldn't have Shaw and Tellers at this football club at this moment in time. The reason is that we have no proper plan in place. The managers that have gone before us have all played in different ways. When we get Ten Hag in, it looks like Ten Hag has really put his foot down. I don't know whether it's what we want to hear or whether it's truth, but I like, from what I've seen of Ten Hag, I like it, right? We need Ten Hag to come in, right? You get the board, everyone, obviously you have a meeting, you say, right, this is how I want to play. These are the players I want. If you can't sign number target 1, sign me number 2. If you can't get number 2, and give them a list of players that he wants, right? You can't get everybody you want. Okay, give him some players. Make sure the under 23s and all the academy players and everybody else, get a manager in there who plays in the same way as Ten Hag does. Absolutely. So when when we need a young player to step up or something, they're used to playing in. Obviously, it's not going to be the same. It's the same exact system, maybe, but a similar style, so they can be accommodated. And you'll actually find that if you go through the whole of Man United's team, we have got so many different types of players. That is sometimes a luxury, but for us, it isn't a luxury because they all want to play in a different way. Exactly. We've got a goalkeeper who suits more of a, I don't want to say it, but more of a system, a more passive system. Yeah. David De Gea rather than a more active system. You've got a left back in Alex Tellers who suits more of a back 3 as a wing back. A back 5 as a wing back, and more of a hit the target man with early crosses. We haven't got that. And if you look through the whole team, we've got so many players that don't fit together. And this is the impact that you get after so many years of Glazer ownership with no proper plan and no proper structure. So that's what we need to sort out first. And then we could talk about, we're going to have to play some of these players in the next few months and years.
I know.
But hopefully soon we can get more of a balanced team. Everybody singing on the same hymn sheets, like table football. Everybody's together. Everybody knows what we're buying into, because at the moment we've got too many players of all different types that all want to do different things, and it just does not fit together.
100%. Absolutely. Dem Marito says, get the crap Maguire out. Absolute joke, captain. Big up to everybody who's watching. Over 600 of you on here. Please smash a like on the video. So if you're watching right now, hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. Right, we know Pogba's leaving. We don't know Pogba's leaving, actually. Matic is leaving. Pogba is on his way out, more likely than not. So far we have Matic. So we have McTominay, Fred, Bruno Fernandes, Donny van der Beek, who should come back. That's 4 midfielders available. Is that right?
That is so bad, man.
That is so bad. So we need to think very. And Matt is leaving as well. But so McTominay, Fred, Bruno, Donny van der Beek. That's our 4 midfielders we've got next season. That is an outrage. So what should we do? Statman first. Who should we bring in? I would say he's going to bring in more likely 2 midfielders. If it's not, and Lingard's also leaving as well. I would say 2 midfielders is what United need: a DM and someone to replace Paul Pogba. 2 midfielders, and then James Garner can be the midfielder extra if we use him as backup.
I think
who are you bringing?
The dream is probably Tchouaméni, but realistically, I think you'll go Real in it, which is understandable. Yeah. Real are a much bigger and better prospect.
Okay, be realistic. Then. Be realistic.
Declan Rice is another one that would be linked to, but realistically, we're not paying over £100 million. Then after that, it probably has to be someone like Kamara's available on free.
I don't think United get free transfers. When's the last time we bought free transfers?
Yeah, I know, but like United should be all over that for a free transfer kind of thing, just to have.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Tielemans, 25 million, maybe I'll take it, but I'll be honest, I'm not really impressed by Tielemans off the ball and stuff as well, innit? Like the midfield area is tricky, innit? The midfield area is very, very tricky because it depends on the profile that Neves, but I swear he's like Wolves got a hefty price tag now on him as well.
What, 70 million?
No, below that. I think it's 50 reported or something like that.
I think last season it was around 30 to 40. This season is probably up kind of thing.
I think you're gonna get Phillips maybe. Lema is a utility player. That could be a good player. Is that the Lema, the one that can play right back as well, isn't it? And DM.
He is a good player. I'd say he's a good player. Yeah,
he was good yesterday.
Yeah, that's another player that they could possibly get. Obviously Gravenberch is going to Bayern Munich. I think Neves would be a smart option at 40 to 60 million, maybe. possibly around that edge. Basuma, I think the kind of the hype has really gone in terms of Man United
court case,
actually
innit?
interested. Yeah, the court case as well. United maybe don't want to get involved in that one. Adam, what are you going for? Give me 2 midfielders that you would probably get if you were to get it.
Ruben Neves, to be honest, because I don't want a DM and I don't want an attacking midfielder. I want someone who plays in midfield. I want someone like Neves, someone like Carrick, someone like Busquets, someone like Jorginho. I just want a proper midfielder that can pass the ball. That's not necessarily defensive, but not necessarily offensive. And I think Ruben Neves, of course, Barcelona, they have problem with money because I would have splashed everything I got for Frankie de Jong, to be honest. Like Ruben Neves and Frankie de Jong will be the midfield for me. Well, at least the signings, I mean, for this.
You know Bellingham, right? Do you think United would ever go for Bellingham?
I think it would be even more expensive than De Jong.
Because I think he would be upwards of £80 million. And they're not letting go of Haaland and Bellingham in the same summer.
Yeah, exactly.
80 for Bellingham. You know
if
what?
It's 80 million, I would do it.
I think it'd be upwards of 80, I'll be honest.
Upwards of 80. Would people like Bellingham? I'm just asking the people in the chat. Would you take Bellingham? You know what I mean? Even though he kind of rejected us first.
I think he's going to be a superstar, that kid. I rate him, to be honest.
Yeah, it would be a superstar. It would be a top player if he came to United. You know what I mean? But again, his contract, you know what I mean? It's just signed. When does his contract run out, by the way?
I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure he's going to go Liverpool eventually, innit? In years' time.
Kakare from Lyon, yeah. Very, very good player. You know what? I need to speak to my French guy. He was saying Kakare as well. He was talking about Tuchemeli. Very, very young midfielders that are coming up in the thingy. Kondogbia is a player that we should have got about 6 years ago. You know what I mean? When he was at Monaco and other clubs, Valencia. So Charlie, what are you going for then? Charlie, what are you going for? Midfielders that we could get.
Well, the report came out today, didn't it, about Ten Hag apparently being interested in Tchouaméni. Look,
really?
60 to 7. Yeah. And I've just read there's a big journalist from I don't know what country it was, but they said apparently Real Madrid are not in negotiation, which I was quite surprised with. I don't know whether that's fake. I think he will go to Real Madrid. It just looks perfect. But look, 60 to 70 million euros for this kid is it's a bargain.
Yeah.
I know he's played in the French league. I know, I've watched him on multiple occasions. Obviously, you need to watch players for more than multiple occasions to properly judge, really, I think. But from what I've seen of the kid, he's actually playing tonight at 8 o'clock against Rennes for Monaco. So watch out for that. But from what I've seen of him, he looks very, very good. I'm not a fan of the price tag with Rice. It's not for me. I just stay clear. There's no chance West Ham are going to sell him for anything less than
no. Especially when they're in Europe as well and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They're not.
And then you've got Bellingham. It wouldn't be my first signing. Look, we need to just sign. We need to get Ten Hag in. What's your first priority? Hopefully, he says midfield player.
I've got this fear that we'll get Phillips. Yeah, I've got this fear that we'll get Phillips.
I wouldn't be opposed to Phillips, to be honest. I think if he can be on Scott McTominay and we never see McTominay ever again, I have no problem with that. Let's suppose he's a rotation player. You have him around, but you have a midfield of, I don't know, Ruben Neves, Tchouaméni, for example, Donny van de Beek, Frankie. You get your proper midfielders, but you have Calvin Phillips in there. No problems for me, to be honest. And if he wasn't so injury prone, I would splash a bit of money because of his age on Marco Verratti, because I think he's one of the world's best midfielders. Spent a lot of time at
I wish.
Is he not another Raiola client?
He's a Raiola client, yeah. Not a problem for me. Go ahead, say.
What about players like Rabiot, maybe at Juventus? You know,
Rabiot, I wouldn't go for him.
Not for me. I think Benacer. If anyone sees Benacer at AC Milan, and also Fabian Ruiz at Napoli as well.
That man, you say that as well.
Yeah.
But we're throwing names in the hat. You know what I mean? We've got to see what Ten Hag wants to do at the end of the day.
Kimmich, people want Kimmich. Rabiot's average. Milinkovic-Savic. You know what? Big up to you, Alien Tenno.
We're not doing this, man.
For 6 years as well.
Nah, this happens every summer.
Every single time, combo replacement.
Yeah, man. Pogba replacement, mate. He's another Schneider. He's another Gaitan, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Barella, oh my God, what I'd do for Barella, but he just signed a contract, hasn't he?
Yeah.
At Inter
Locatelli,
Milan.
he just signed for Juventus, but I would have loved Locatelli as well. I think he's a good player.
Oh my God.
Oh
mate,
yeah, the Euros. He was one of the best players of Euros.
Exactly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know what? We need midfielders that you don't notice during the games, but when they don't play, the whole team falls apart. This is the type of midfielder we need. If I see a midfielder too much during a game, I don't like it. I want quick pass, move, get going. The players that if you take them out of the squad, the whole team crumbles. But during the game, you don't see them, you don't notice them. And those are my players.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, he didn't even play well there, man. You get me? Big up to Prem Prodigy, man. Kessie's gone to Barcelona. You know what I mean? John McGinn, nah. Because we have Ten Hag, John McGinn's not possible. If it was Pochettino, maybe possible. Right, let's move over to wingers. By the way, let me just ask you a quick question. Oh, you know what? Martial's a striker, so we'll leave it for striker. Rashford, are you on the agreement that for me, he's not a Ten Hag star, or do you think he could be a Ten Hag star? What do you think, Charlie? Do you think Rashford could start on the Ten Hag?
Yeah, I think Rashford could if Rashford took himself out of the football and sat himself in a room with nothing in the room and started to think about what he's doing for an hour or so. I think he'd actually look. I know Adam's the same, but I've always thought Rashford is a decent footballer, but I've never thought he was this amazing footballer. I think he's a decent footballer. I think he's got some good attributes. I think he could play for Man United, even when he was scoring all the goals. He was still not playing for me. His overall game, you know, he's talking about his aerial abilities, his tracking back, his work rate, always wasn't that good. I think he's a decent player. I think this idea that he's terrible, and he always has been, I think that's a bit harsh. I think he's a decent player, but I don't think he's ever going to, I think he really needs to take some time out of football and I think he just needs to stop all this. And I know he's doing good things, but it must be having an impact, all this work.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, so I think he could play. I think he could play, but he needs to really sort himself out. Really,
absolutely. Sancho on the left, Anthony on the right. Personally, I would want to get Rafinha, but again, I wouldn't say no to Anthony. And Cuckoo is another one that's been linked, Statman. What are you thinking in terms of wingers that are, for me, you have to almost realistic as well. Who can we get that's realistic? You know what I mean?
The dream is Dembele.
Dembele, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's dream, innit? I'll be honest, not totally convinced on Anthony or Rafinha in this United side. Elise is a shout, though. Elise is someone I would.
Elise, I think it's too young, maybe too young in terms of, because Vieira doesn't use him in the big games, man, and that's maybe a telling reason. Is he still developed?
To be honest with you, I would go get Anthony and Dembele. Anthony, you need to buy, and I think Dembele's contract is running out at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's for free, isn't it? So,
but I think you might be signing wages.
He may sign.
I'm going to be.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry, bro.
Nah, not Dembele, not for me. I know it's a bit unpopular, but signing a player with an injury record like that, whether he's, I like to avoid those sort of players for me. Elise, I'm not too convinced. I
just
think
on Dembele quickly, yeah. Would you not take the risk because he's that good?
He's that good, and he's a free.
I would.
He's going to be on high wages. No, we need players who we need players who are going to be. Firstly, that Ten Hag wants. Would Ten Hag want Dembele?
I think he
possibly with his attributes, but he's going to be on massive wages. I imagine. I imagine he is from what he's about, and I don't mind paying big wages.
I like this comment.
For me, man, not for me. I just think he's too. I can't have players. We need players here who are available and reliable. And,
absolutely.
We need to make sure. I don't see it.
You know what? This is exactly why I said him and Anthony. We need someone to be Nani, quality player that would start elsewhere, but can be a bench player. And Anthony, people say, like Statman, you said you're not too sold on Anthony. I hear that, and I'm not. I am with you on that. I think he's a good player, but I can't make him United's right winger starting right. I need two players, and I know Dembele is that good. Like he is that quality of a player. I would get them both, to be honest. Get them.
I got an option
okay.
here. What do you look? I know this ain't a right winger, but what do you lot think of Danjuma?
Danjuma as well, yeah, option. But he plays more on the left, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what do you lot think of?
I think he's a good, very, very good player.
Yeah.
Chukwueze as well. Chukwueze from Villarreal. I think that's a good option. Very, very tricky winger. I don't know if people would fancy him, but he's an option that United could get. I mean, there's a couple of options, but we'll leave that for wingers for now. I think attacking midfielders, I think Donny and Bruno will have to assess what they do with the club. I personally think there's going to be more. There's a lot of reality that maybe Bruno might start, but you never know with this manager. You just never know. Let's go with a striker option. First and foremost, Martial. You're a big fan of Martial, Adam.
Yeah.
Is it time to move on? Had a great time at Sevilla. I don't know what's happened. Obviously, he's had external factors. Obviously, Sevilla, the way they play football maybe hasn't suited him. But is it time to move on, Martial, or could he play under Ten Hag?
The thing with Martial, and I've watched a few Sevilla games, and I don't understand the I think the backlash. A few Sevilla fans, of course, but most of the critics he had at Sevilla are United fans who are going to see if he scored or did he assist. And then they make articles, and the Manchester Evening News are on his back all the time. They report on him all the time. And I think with Marcel, and I agree with this, it may be time to go. It may be time to go. And that's fine if he wants to go. If that is the end of the road, fair enough. But I think he's a good player, and I've watched him a few. The game against Barcelona, I thought he played very well in that game when they lost. They lose. I think they lost. They lost to Barca. I think he played very well, and that Sevilla team is not a team that is. I just think he couldn't do much more than that. But to be honest, now if you get rid of Martial on purpose, we are quite thin. It may be time, but Martial can play on the left, and with a guy like Ten Hag, he can play very well on the left, and he could play very well up front as well. And at least he's an option there. It might be the end, like you said, Saeed. It might be the end. It may be time to go, and that's fair enough. But
Statman, your guy. Martial, would you reckon?
I said this yesterday. There's no one in the number 9 market that blows my mind right now. I'll probably say I can find deficiencies in every single player, which is why I said to you, I'm probably leaning towards keeping Ronaldo and Martial for another year and just hope someone else becomes available. But I just hope someone becomes available next year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ronaldo out, man.
No, but realistically, we need to keep Ronaldo for a body. We need to keep Martial for a body. Like Darwin Nunez, I ain't sold on him.
I didn't watch enough.
Yeah.
A possession-based side kind of thing.
Martial, right?
Yeah, go on.
I'm one of Martial's biggest fans. I've backed him for a long, long time. This is a player with everyone can't appreciate Martial because some people don't see football and everyone sees football differently. Yeah. I've always appreciated the way Martial plays. He's a very unselfish player because he always tries to do the best thing for the team rather than the best thing for himself. And we have too many players in our team who try and do the best thing for themselves rather than the best thing for the team. He's got the ability. Has he got the application, the consistency? We said this about Luke Shaw as well. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, but I'm going to get behind everything that Ten Hag does.
Yeah,
I'm going to get behind everything that Ten Hag does because, and I've said I prefer Shaw, bit of his ability, but I wouldn't. If Shaw was sold, that's great. We've got rid of a player who hasn't been that good for us. I'm just saying, at this moment in time, it wouldn't be the first one I'd sell, and that's the same with Martial. He wouldn't be one of the first ones that I'd sell. But yeah, Martial for me is a top. He's got top quality, but the application, I'm not so sure.
Someone saying Prem Prodigy is asking about Ivan Toney. Me and Statman talked about it on his Twitch yesterday. The thing for me with Ivan Toney, I'm not disputing that he's a good player and whether he has any attributes and whatnot. I just think what Taylor's Brentford needs doesn't necessarily will kind of match what United would need. United would probably need more from Ivan Toney than what he's probably providing at Brentford. You know what I mean? And that's what's the problem. But again, to what we're trying to do, maybe Ivan Toney, you know, to some people might think, you know, that's the perfect option for now. I just don't believe that Ivan Toney would fit with what Ten Hag's trying to do. I think you would need more. Okay, people would stay back in Hauer, you know, similar sort of player. But again, I'm not too sure, man. I think for me, we've got to be looking at another option. But again, who else is out there? You know what I mean? Statman. There's not really much.
This is what I said to you yesterday. Name me a number 9 that's good on the ball and clinical. That's available. And you can't.
Yeah, this is taking a piss.
Because realistically, Harry Kane's not leaving Tottenham.
Yeah.
And you can't.
You know what? I want to go with these kind of. I want to go with the unknown. I do sometimes want to go with the unknown. Patrick Schick, Darwin Nunez. I think we do need a young striker, though. You know what? I think it's got to that time where we need a young, up-and-coming number 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like Darwin Nunez could be that option. And
you know what? The guy that City signed, that Alvarez.
Yeah.
I think 17 million for 20, 21 years old. We could have taken that risk. At worst, we should have. At worst, it doesn't work. Yeah. And it doesn't work fine. But at least you have someone who's good on the ball, quick, hungry, young. And when you look, he has an eye for goal. He scores goals. And if it doesn't work, fine, it doesn't work. But at least you have someone, so you don't have all of the weight on Ronaldo next season or on Martial coming back. That's not an optimal situation for us. And 17 million pounds for that guy, and Rangnick, I think, scouted him. We should have done that deal.
If Lewandowski is available and buying, and he said he wants to leave this summer, would anyone say no to Lewandowski?
I would take him, but it doesn't solve the striker issue because in 2 years' time, we still have the same problem.
Yeah, 2 years' time, Ten Hag could be gone. You know what I mean? We don't know. I think.
Oh God, man! Don't do that.
No, but I'm just saying. Though. If people would take Benzema, so why can't you take Lewandowski for 2-3 seasons? I mean, I still think he's not the kind of talking. You know, when we talk about Ronaldo, I think Ronaldo doesn't have the technical ability as Lewandowski. I think Lewandowski is more mobile. I think he's very, very athletic. You know what I mean? Okay, Ronaldo is, but he's still got a bit about him. He's 33, I believe. Just
you know what the problem is here with Lewa? Would we take him for 1 or 2 years as a short-term signing? The answer is probably yes, isn't it? But then it's kind of like, after that, are United going to have a plan to replace Lewandowski?
Yeah, but you said there's no strikers out there.
Exactly, which is why I'm saying United are probably going to be clueless or something. Like I said this, I'm happy. I'll just go with another year with our striker options right now.
Right, that's the problem. Another year without a striker, another year without a left back. That's the problem. We need to sort the issues out now.
No, but this is what I said. There's no striker in my eyes that's good, that's available. Go solve other positions. Go sign 2 or 3 midfielders. Go sign a right winger. Go sign a centre back.
Yeah.
Go sign.
I agree.
But you know what? That's a good point as well, because I've always been a believer that you like. I know I said earlier I don't like talking about goalkeeping because I like to score goals, right? But I always feel if you've got a more balanced team with better defenders, better midfield players, you'll generally score more goals anyway.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's generally how football works. People think like this Nunez, it's a big no from me. I think his link-up play isn't good enough. People think that you sign a striker and they instantly score more goals. There's very few strikers who can make goals for themselves.
Exactly.
Like with their movement, of course you can, but you've got players like Harry Kane. His overall game is obviously really, really good, but Nunez isn't like that. You've got to put the ball on Nunez's head or on his foot for him to score. He's not going to create goals for himself, and this is the problem we've got. You've got to solve out the defence and midfield, and maybe even a keeper if you want to first, and you'll generally score more goals anyway, and then you assess the striker. I like Nkunku, but he plays in a front 2, and he's not a natural number 9. Exactly. But I think Nkunku is a very, very good player. He can play out wide. He can play at number 10. He can play as a makeshift number 9 as well. But I agree with Statman, actually. I think that's what we should do.
You see with Nunez as well, I'm pretty sure he's overperforming Zexi by 8 or something, isn't it? Like, realistically, he's never going to keep that rate up.
What about Broha from Southampton?
Yeah, but he's a Chelsea player. But that would be, now that I'm thinking about it, he's probably my first option. I think his quality, he's a unit as well. And he can play, and he's lightning quick, but he doesn't look quick because of the size, but he's very fast. And Broha, if we can, I would splash money on that guy, actually.
Lautaro Martinez.
I just don't think
I
Chelsea will let him go in it. That's the only problem.
Yeah, Lautaro Martinez
you know what?
with a bit of pace would be unbelievable.
I'm not a big
You
fan.
know what, with Ten Hag, like in the 18-19 season, Ten Hag played with Tadic as a false nine. And I don't think we have, I'm not too sure about our options, the current options we've got as a false nine, but Ten Hag changed completely the way he played. Well, obviously he's still got the same principles, but he's
Bruno.
using a target man, more of a Haller this season. So we can't say, we don't know what type of, Ten Hag might come in, he might see something like, okay, we've seen Jadon Sancho, and he might all of a sudden move Jadon Sancho. Ten Hag is going to do something that we don't expect. He's going to play somebody somewhere, you know, for all we know. And I think Lindelof's going to be at right back or something. You know what I'm saying? So we just don't know. He's a clever man.
I agree with you, Charlie. I'm not having Bruno at false nine, and if you ask me,
I did say it. I did say Bruno false nine all them years ago. People was laughing at me saying Bruno is going to be a false nine soon for Man United. And you know what? I think Charlie's hailing at him, man. It could happen.
Nah, but realistically, yeah. Compare him to Firmino. He's levels behind Firmino in that false nine.
Of course.
He don't have the technical ability. Yeah. I prefer Martial there than Bruno.
Exactly. You play Donny there.
As long as we have the right system. Yeah. As long as we have the right system and everything fits, then we're gonna see. Well, by the way, RB Salzburg has set aside Brazilian strike. Oh no, that's something different. But anyway, people, we're gonna wrap it up here. People, big up to everybody who's watching. I thought it was Leipzig that have signed another player. I was like, oh my god, another striker that they're getting. Someone asking about Martial. For me, I think we should sell him and get some money out of him. We need to raise up the cash. So it is what it is, people. But listen, people. We're coming to the end of the show. Big up to everybody who's watched the whole way through. If you've enjoyed it, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're nearly at 50k, people. Less than 2,000 away from 50k. Hopefully, I can get that before the end of the season. If not, in the summer. But big up to everybody who's watching. Charlie, let them know where they can find you, man.
Yeah, Thread by Chazza. We've started a TikTok account as well. We might be doing a few things on there. So on Twitter and TikTok, you check me out. And thanks everyone for watching again. And thanks to you, Syed, again. Cheers, mate.
No, man. Anytime, man. Adam, big up to you, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. Where can they find you?
Thanks to you, my guy. Thanks to you. It's been a while. I enjoyed this show. I really do. And thanks to Charlie, Statman, everybody. And thank you very much. It was an enjoyable one. Really was.
Absolutely, man. And Statman Baines. Let them know where they can find you.
Just Statman Baines on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, man. Make sure everybody to follow them all. And yeah, man, keep showing the love. I'll be at the game tomorrow. I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to go, but it is what it is. I don't know why, man. Yeah, man. The City's playing at that time as Liverpool. I don't know how, but they took the mick out. I think the Premier League should have just told them. But then again, it's FA, innit? They could do what they want. So
I think
it is what it is. But we'll be at the. Yeah, exactly. Charlie, you at the game tomorrow?
No. I've had something planned for a few weeks, man. So I'm doing that instead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you got to prioritize. You got to prioritize your mental health and your well-being above Man United. You're not saying?
Yeah, man. Not lying to you, man. Yeah, man. Listen, people, enjoy the rest of your evening. Obviously, a Ramadan Mubarak as usual to the people who are celebrating and who are iftaring and who are fasting for the month of Ramadan. So big up to everybody who is fasting. And I'll see you tomorrow for the match reaction, match vlog after the game against Norwich. Hopefully, we get the 3 points, but I couldn't care less anyway. Take care. Bye-bye.